Welcome to another episode of Glorious Life on Wheels. Today, I'm going to give you a glimpse into what it's like to live as a solo female senior nomad beneath the poverty line. Doing van life or living as a nomad isn't always the picture-perfect life we see depicted. For seniors living beneath the poverty line, it is a very different existence. Something as simple as replacing a worn tire or even having enough food and water can be a struggle. In this video, Kat shares what it is like to live in poverty as a senior nomad. Hello again, Kat.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. We are meeting again. We have talked before as you've gone through different trials and tribulations, but you have now been living in your trailer for how long?
3 years, since August 25th of 20.
And what happened on August 25th?
Danny, my spouse of 40 years, passed away after a heart illness.
And so that resulted in you now being a solo female nomad.
Right, and on my own.
So you are what we call a boondocker, someone who is not living in an RV park or in a campground. So where do you park your trailer?
I park on a public street, and then at night I go onto private property when I had my truck available.
So why do you move your trailer?
Because from the hours of 2 to 6 a.m., you cannot be on public streets. It's this law around here.
So the city enacted an ordinance that if you're homeless or if you're a nomad and you have no other shelter but your trailer, you have to move it. During the hours that you normally sleep, you have to move it.
Correct.
Oh my goodness. So, but your trailer has to hook up to your truck, right?
Correct. Normally I have a big Dodge truck that pulls this trailer.
And how old is your truck?
It's a 1998, same year as the trailer.
Okay. So it's an older truck, but it still was working. And what happened recently?
I blew the transmission out. And it's very hard to find a transmission in San Diego, so we had to send it down to Torrance, and that's where it's being repaired right now.
So you now have to either rely on someone to come help you move your trailer every night between 2 and 6, or what happens?
Or I risk the ticket. And right now I have rented U-Hauls to pull it, but I still get a ticket if I fall asleep and I don't move it onto private property. They have made me move down the street a quarter-eighth of a mile, and I still got a ticket. So I have decided to stay put right now, and I've talked to everybody, let them know.
So basically, it's very challenging.
It's very scary. 4 tickets and I lose my trailer, and I ended up in a tent.
Now, what do you mean you lose your trailer?
They'll tow it.
So if you accumulate so many tickets, then they impound your trailer?
Yes, they will.
So let's talk about, let's get back to what kind of my title is. What it's like living as a solo female nomad beneath the poverty line. Would you consider yourself living beneath the poverty line?
Beyond below it. After I pay my bills and pay what it takes to run this trailer and to live for a month, I have $17.
So, I heard a while back when they were having all these problems in Europe, they were talking in Britain about seniors having to choose between food and fuel. And it sounds like you are often in that situation.
Pretty much the last couple of weeks of every month I am. The choice is always fuel. I've got to keep things running.
So you have $17 left after you pay everything,
Mm-hmm.
and you're living beneath the poverty line, and you get food stamps. But how much are you getting in food stamps?
I'm only getting $67 a month. Doesn't feed a person.
No, wouldn't even feed a dog, much less a person. Oh my gosh. So I'm trying to give people an idea of what it's really like. So as you're watching and as your food is dwindling and your food supply starts to dwindle, what are you thinking in your mind? And you're looking at maybe your water's going down, your food's going down, and you're looking around your trailer. What is going through your mind?
How am I going to get through today?
And are you able to, well, right now it's difficult for you to go to food banks because some of them are far away, and gas is
Everything, and I still have a lot of doctor's appointments, so I have to reserve my gas to get to my doctor's appointments. I have to reserve my gas to do laundry, to go get water. Water is a big issue, believe it or not. And I'm carrying 75 5-gallon, excuse me, 75 gallons of water every week, just to do it with a broken back.
So now, I know people are going to say, well, she's in California, gas is high, cost of living is high, why doesn't she just move? But you have certain circumstances that make you stay in California, certain health conditions. Do you want to just briefly share that?
Yeah, I have cancer, colon cancer. That's just one of the major ones. The throat that your viewer showed me here, we're going to a thoracic surgeon in a week for.
So basically, your doctors that you've been with, who've been following your case, who know your history, and who you have built a connection with, they're all in this local area.
And I have to stay local, yes.
And your medical coverage covers you here. And in some states, if you moved out of state, you wouldn't have as good a coverage.
No, and I have actually pretty good coverage to take care of my illnesses.
Right. So as a senior woman, because you're how old?
I'm 61 years old.
So as a senior woman who is experiencing health problems, who's living beneath the poverty line, are you ever really scared?
I'm terrified. I am scared every day because I don't know if I'm going to have my trailer. When something breaks down, how do I fix it? Where do I get the money? I just recently had a tire issue. I've got to pay for a transmission. Where is it going to come from?
I was looking at your tires. One of your tires is actually not only bald, but split, open.
Yeah, and I have 7,000 pounds carrying weight here. I was blessed that my children do help me when they can. They are struggling themselves, but I was able to purchase a new tire for this one, but it was a godsend.
Because of your son's help. And you were telling me that one of your sons is working 2 jobs and only has a brief period between the 2 jobs. And the other son, his wife is suffering from what?
End-stage renal failure. So she has dialysis.
And
he has to pay that a lot.
So they're really struggling, but they still, before anyone says, oh, her family should help her, your kids help you as much as they can.
They do the best that they can. As stressful as their life is, when I call, they're there for me.
Right. So it's not like, people have family members all the time who have pools of money reserved that they can you pick up the phone and they just send it. They're struggling too.
Right.
So what is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is going into a tent and losing everything. As sick as I am, if they take my trailer, I'm out on the streets. And that is the biggest fear that I have. It could happen tomorrow.
Yeah. So what is it like living with that cloud of fear over you?
Extremely stressful. Always trying to figure out where am I going to get the next dollar to buy water, and where am I going to get the next money to do gasoline, to keep my refrigerator, that what little food I do have doesn't go bad.
So basically what I'm hearing from you, and what I'm hearing from so many people that reach out to me in comments or emails on my channel, is that one slight thing can throw everything else off.
It's like it makes a mountain out of it, because if you don't have one thing in place, then not only you stressed out because you're trying to figure it out, but it just goes to the next and to the next and to the next problem.
So it's like a domino.
Oh, big time. And then you're so stressed out. You're going, now how am I going to do all this? Where's it going to come from? How am I going to survive? How am I going to save myself this way? And you're constantly thinking that, and so you get very upset. And you just don't. No, it's never just living calm in life and just, saying, okay, I can sit there and breathe, because you can't. You
So
can't
it's the
breathe.
uncertainty.
It's the uncertainty, not knowing where I'm going to put my trailer tonight, not knowing if I'm going to come back from the grocery store and it's gone because they decided to take it.
So you're kind of like in a state of constant hypervigilant, or like, if a person is in fight or flight, you're constantly kind of in that state of worry and concern.
Yes. And every dollar you spend, you're going, is this where it's right? Is this where it needs to go? Because there may not be in the next dollar. And there's days I let my laundry go for 3 weeks because food, water, and gas and propane are priorities.
So
laundry is not.
It sounds like some of the very minuscule things that people just take for granted are huge day-to-day decisions for you.
Yeah, very much so. And you have to have the basic needs, and that's
Right.
all I focus on, is the basic needs of each day. Anything else is a blessing, but most times, especially at the end of the month, the last 2 weeks, it doesn't happen. And I count days. I go, okay, I got 11 days. I got 10 days to go. I've got 9 days to go, and you take a breather when you're on day one,
Right.
again.
A lot of people seem to have the impression that if you're living as a nomad, you're just living a free life, going through life carefree, but as a solo senior living beneath the poverty line, nothing could be further from the truth, it sounds
No.
like.
And I worked my whole life. We always had our own businesses, and I never expected this to happen this way. But it did. And you take it for what it is. And I have to learn to live beyond the poverty line, because the poverty line is way higher than what my income is.
Now, for people who might say, oh, well, she didn't make good choices, she didn't make good decisions, they need to understand that your partner, your husband, was sick for over a decade.
Right.
And that sapped almost all of your resources.
Yes, he was sick for 10 years.
So now you're alone.
Right. And I am glad that he is not suffering anymore. But it also left me all by myself. And that's hard. That's a hard reality.
And you had never, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but you had never driven his truck. You'd never towed a trailer before. You'd never done anything of these, because he always handled those things.
Well, his truck that I'm pulling this trailer with was his toy. And he didn't allow anybody to drive. And what do? I break it the first time.
So, and you got stuck on the railroad tracks with it.
And the tire fell off. And,
So not only are you struggling with the financial aspects of this, you had a rapid learning curve that you had to pull together and learn all these things instantly almost.
Pretty much, and I'm still learning. I'm learning a lot and making a lot of mistakes. And the mistakes are costly.
Yes.
But I don't have him to rely on anymore.
Right.
I have to rely on my own senses. And it's just what it is out here. Trust me, I have looked everywhere, and there's no place that I can afford.
Oh no, it's almost impossible to find anything for less than $1,000 a month.
Right.
To park, as far as a trailer in an RV park. I don't even know if you can find something for $1,000 a month around here where you could get to your doctor's appointments. So if you're living on less than $1,100 a month, and you have to pay $1,000 a month for.
I don't eat.
Yeah.
I get skinny.
Yeah, do the math. Yeah, you don't eat. Your dog doesn't eat. No one eats.
No, and I search every week. Couches are going for $700 a month right now on a couch.
Oh, rooms. Just renting a room is about $1,300 or $1,400
More than
a month.
I make.
Yeah.
Then what do I do? Then I don't eat and I don't sleep.
Oh my gosh. Well, one of the things that I admire so about you is that despite the difficult times, well, two of the things I should say that I admire about you. One is that despite your difficult times, you try and put up a positive face. And two, which just really I just don't know how to describe how I feel about. Well, there goes the train. That's this is what it's like living next to a train track. But the other thing that I just so admire about you is that you, in your scarcity, still share with others.
Yes.
Because someone came to you the other day who didn't have any food and hadn't had any food, another senior female living in a rig on the streets came to you, and you shared the little that you had with her.
Right, and she didn't have gas. She had been stuck for 3 days. It's not much, but I do try and pay it forward. Every day of the week, I try and do a good deed of some sort.
Well, you know what? I heard someone the other say, of all people, it was Cat Williams, the comedian, because someone was asking him why he gives so much away and does so much for people. And he said, you know, he's learned that one of the rules of the universe is you have to make deposits so that when you need to make a withdrawal, you have a balance. Right. You know, it's just disgraceful, I think, the way we discard seniors. And I think it's discarding seniors in this country, you know, rather than honoring them. But I'm hopeful that things will turn around, that you will get your transmission fixed, because you're not going to be able to stay in this area on this street very long. Because
no, I have a timeline.
Yeah.
You know, and I know it, and then what? Where do I go?
Yeah, they're building or opening up a school, and they're not going to be letting anyone even park here pretty soon.
Right, and I've talked to, the one thing with me is I keep the communication open with everybody.
Right.
They know what's happening with me, and I explain to them. And
you mean when you say everyone, you mean the parking people and all that?
The parking, the supervisor of the job site, and
police.
The police, whoever I come across, because they understand that I'm not here because I want to be here. I'm here because of the circumstances that I can't go anywhere else right now.
Right.
And unfortunately, I've had a lot of things happen to my vehicles that have got me stationary, and that scares me, because then what happens?
Well, hopefully the people who are in charge and running the city of Oceanside will have a heart and understand that you are doing your best, you're trying to get things together, and cut you some slack and not keep ticketing you every day.
I just paid 2 tickets and got one last night.
You know, so you get you get an inch ahead, and then you get tickets and get pulled back a foot. So hopefully, if anyone's listening from the city of Oceanside, could you give Kat a break and let her try and get on her feet, you know, as best that she can, living already beneath the poverty line? And it looks like your bird wants to keep talking, doesn't it? Well, Kat, thank you so much for sharing your story and a glimpse of the reality of what it's like to live from day to day beneath the poverty line as a senior woman, nomad, just trying to fight the fight every day and live the struggle. And we're going to check back with you and see where your next move is going to be.
I don't know. I have no clue.
Well, we're going to hold out good thoughts for you, that it's going to be somewhere good, that someone out there may have a place where you can park in North County, San Diego.
Right.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Have a golden day.
You too. Bye-bye.